Hello and welcome back to my garage. Today I'm going to change the front brakes on my girlfriend's car, the Skoda Felicia Fun. A while back we already did the rear brakes and well, I saw that the front brakes needed some work also, and that is what I'm going to do today. I don't know much more to say right now because we just have discs and we have some pads. This one has some springs on the top, and well, we're going to install them. So let's get going. I know the car is really filthy. The problem is the last few months have been raining. We had so much rain. I know that Holland is a rainy country, but this is even ridiculous for us. I don't think that one day goes by and it is raining. And the other problem is I have a mud road, a semi-mud road, so it's now really a mud road. And also I have to go to a patch of grass to get into my shed, so voila. As always, I like to start with pushing back the brake pads. Just keep in mind that if you push back the brake pads, the chances are that the reservoir will be overflowing. So be sure to check your reservoir that it isn't completely full. We are going to push it back so the liquid will, well, get back into the reservoir. Or just push it like I did a lot of times, and then you make a big mess because everything is going to fall on the ground and into the engine compartment, and you have to clean that all up again. So it's up to you. The brakes aren't that worn, at least on this side. Maybe the other side was worn, but oh well, I got them and I'm going to replace them all. Of course, if you're going to reuse this pads, never use a screwdriver behind it like this. You're really going to ruin your pads. Next up is removing these two bolts. Most of the time you just have to remove one and you can just flip it, so. But that's up to you. Oh, it is spinning, so we need a spanner, I believe. Yes, a spanner. And it is also a 13. And it is not a 13. Still not a 13. Is it a 15? Yes, it is. So the outside is a 13 and this inside is a 15. And then just flip it up. And if you really want it, you can take it out like so. That's why I say don't use it don't use a screwdriver on it when you want to reuse it. And as you can see, the pads aren't that bad. Always put the caliper somewhere safe. with a bungee cord, or well, I just put it back here so you don't have any tension on the brake line. Also, now is a good opportunity to check your brake lines for any wear or some hairline cracks. These looks good, so we're not going to replace them. This we're going to remove the caliper bracket, and that is a 17. Next up, we are going to remove the rotor. There is a bolt here, in this case a flat screwdriver, and I definitely do know that these didn't come with flat screwdriver heads. I did change the wheel bearing once on this car. So, did I put it in there? Don't know anymore. But I believe this is originally a Torx bit. Before we're going to put on the new brake disc, we need to clean it up. At least this hub. So remove all the rust and grime you can find. That's really necessary for, well, if you don't do it, the chances are that you have some pulses in your brake pedal. Because it will get on crooked, and when you brake, the disc is going to, well, flop around, and that you will feel in your brake pedal because it pushes the piston of the brake caliper inwards, outwards, inwards, outwards, and that is what you are going to feel. Just clean it up, especially if it is your girlfriend's or your wife's car. Then you can hear again that you did a crappy job. And guys, we all know we already got a lot of crap of that. So, clean it up. I think I do get some crap later on that I make her car dirty again. So, I think I have to go to the car wash after this. Yes, I said again, because it is always our fault, guys. It is always our fault. It's as simple as that. And as always, clean up your discs before installing. There is a bit of oil on it, just for storage. And oil and braking, well, except inside the brake lines, are not going to work. And just apply a little bit of anti-seize or ceramic grease on the face of the hub. It just don't have to be a shitload, just a nice film. If you ever want to remove it again, it will be a lot easier. And then it's time for the brake rotor, and just align the hole, and the hole is right here. Next up is the bracket. You need to clean it. Right here, as you can see, there is some scuff marks of the pads. So we need to be sure to make this clean so that the pads can slide as they're supposed to do. Also, we're going to take these pins out, clean them up, and use some silicone paste, or this well, it's special from ATA. Some silicone paste on there, and then they're just good to go. It's always weird. Every time I open up this package and I see this white stuff coming out. No guys, not that white stuff. I almost certain that this stuff was blue in the good old days. I remember it as a child that it was blue. So it's always weird every time I open this package that, well, the white stuff comes out. The bracket is now all clean. Now it's time just to put it back. So now we take the caliper. Be sure that you didn't twist the brake line like, well, like something like this, so you get a kink in it. So be sure it's not kinked. And then clean up the slide pin and apply some silicone paste. We can't get the caliper off without removing the brake line, and it is just unnecessary to do that. But what we need to do is clean this ridge. This spring is riding on that ridge, so we need to clean it up as good as we can. So just take a screwdriver and start scraping. And after you're done, use some ceramic grease and just apply it to the ridge here. It's not a painting, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And also what I like to do is put a little bit on these ears right here. Be sure that you also cover these edges of the caliper bracket. Try not to get your stuff on what is it called again? On the brake rotor. Yeah, I'm going to clean it up, I know. Even if I try my best to not touch the rotor, I'm going to touch the rotor. Isn't that right, Robin? Next up are the pads. In this case they are identical, left or right side, so. And now you can just slide them into place. Sometimes you cannot slide them into place, or they're just well, binding a little bit. That can mean two things. One is that you didn't clean the pads below good enough. But sometimes, even if it is as clean as you can, they still not slide. And what you then need to do is just from the metal part here, just take a file and just a couple of passes and retry, and just and if it still doesn't fit, just a couple of passes and try until it is okay. And it has nothing to do with brand. Well, maybe a little bit with brand, but even the high-end brands, I have come across that I need to skim a little bit of the pad. So don't panic if it happens to you. The brake pads are into place, and now we can just gently drop the caliper back. Just be sure that the springs are right in the right orientation. Did I miss something? I missed something. Ah. The other slide pin. Next up we can bolt the caliper down. 15 here. And 13 here. It is always a good thing to check the other side also. And now an important step, of course, is cleaning up the rotor for the final time. Of course, as you can see, I've got all the smoochy stuff on me. One viewer pointed out to me, and rightly so, is to pump your brakes when you're done. It happens to me, it still happens to me, but if you're done with both brakes, then go into your car and just pump the brake pedal for a couple of times. Why? Because it needs to seat. You push the caliper all the way back, and it can be, if you want to, well, pull it out of your parking garage or your parking lot, and you try to brake, that the first 2 or 3 times that you try to brake, it won't brake. So pump your brakes after you're done. But I'm going to clean up the disc now, put on the wheel and do the other side, and then you're done. Another one empty. Next. And there you have it, guys, how to change your brakes on your Toyota Felicia. Yeah, Skoda Felicia fun, or yeah, just a lot of fun cars. So I will post in the description below which cars, but Polo, Caddy, no, Felicia, well, a lot of cars from this era. There was a lot of life left on the discs. Well, maybe a little dimple here and there, probably a stone or something, but yeah, not that bad. Also the pads are, well, in decent condition. The only thing I saw was that they were about to split right around the base. I don't, can you see that? Maybe I have a other one that's better visible, right here. I try to pry this open, maybe that it will come loose, but that wasn't the case. So the pad did came a bit loose from the, well, from the backing plate. So it isn't uncommon that the padding comes loose from the backing plate. But was it really necessary? Questionable. But now I see this, yeah, I'm glad I did. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you liked it, leave it a like. If you have any questions at all, please leave it in the comments. And if you want to follow me around, you know what to do. And I will see you next time. Bye.